and welcome. This is Mouseskinner, and we're back with some more BattleTech and my continued look at the backer beta build and the single-player skirmish mode found within. For this video, I'll be doing another well-rounded build at the battle budget of 20 million, and the premise of these well-rounded builds is that I am building a lance that consists of one scout, one support mech, and one, preferably two, frontline mechs. I'll be using the same opponent as I did in the last video, as well as the same map, and this is for comparison's sake, so you can see the effectiveness of one lance compared to another. And for the lance that I have in this video, we're going to be starting off with the scout. I'll be using the commando yet again. And if you haven't seen the previous video, just a quick reminder of what the abilities of the commando are. We have an SRM-6, an SRM-4, and a medium laser for our firepower. So this is pretty good firepower for such a light mech. The trade-off, though, is we lose out a little bit of mobility when compared to some other scout mechs. It's still a pretty good mech for hit and run attacks, and to aid in that, we have arc light, and what allows her to be pretty good at hit and run attacks is the master tactician ability. This is going to give us an initiative bonus, which allows us to act last in a turn attacking and then act first in the next turn. Normally speaking, when you're doing a hit and run attack with a light mech, you always have the counter of a fellow light mech that can work against your ability to escape. With this initiative bonus, we'll be acting before those normal light mechs will go, so unless our opponent has another pilot with a master tactician ability, and so far Arc Light is the only one that has that, then we can disengage without that threat. Moving on, we have our frontline mechs, the Hunchback and the Kintaro. We're using the swayback variant of the Hunchback, which means we're going to be removing the AC-20 and replacing it with a whole bunch of medium lasers. So we're going to be firing a lot of medium lasers, and we also have a small laser as well. So the role of this mech hasn't really changed. It's all about close-in firepower. You're just swapping out a ballistic weapon with purely energy weapon. So you gain some things. For example, you don't have to worry about ammo explosions or ammo dependency, but you do have to contend with the heat that all these energy weapons are going to be generating. The Hunchback has good armor, which is going to allow it to work well as a frontline mech, as its role is to tank damage for our more vulnerable mechs in the scout and the support. The pilot for this is a little bit of a hard choice because of the rebalancing of the pilots. You have the choice between good defense with bulwark, which means if you're not moving, you're going to get the guard status, which removes damage or reduces damage by 50%. Or you could go for piloting skill to punch. For example, blockade is a good example here, but then you lose out a little bit in that defense. You can get evasive move, which will add a little bit, but I don't know if the Hunchback has enough mobility to really build up the evasive charges to make that work. So I instead chose buckshot exactly for that bulwark ability, also for decent gunnery skill. It's not as good as some pilots have, but gunnery skill has been reduced across the board, so we have to prepare for that a little bit. We do lose out a little bit in piloting skill, but we do gain in guts, which is going to help us contend with heat. You can also use Sumo, which pretty much has the exact same abilities and stats as buckshot, so it really doesn't matter between those pilots. Either one will do. We'll be using buckshot. The Kintaro also is all about close-range firepower. It has 3 SRM-6s, a medium laser. You have a little bit of long-range poke, though, with the LRM-5. The Kintaro has really good armor, actually better than the Hunchback, and also good mobility as well. And to aid in that, we have Ozone. The big downside of the Kintaro, though, is its heat generation. So Ozone's going to help us with that because he's got good gut skill, allowing him to contend with that heat. He also has decent piloting skill, so we can punch if we need to. Unfortunately, gunnery skill is a little bit lower than it is for buckshot, but we have bulwark and evasive movement. So the higher mobility of the Kintaro, we can use evasive movement when that's appropriate, and when it's appropriate, we can stay still and get that guarded status and still be able to fire. So this is a pretty good defensive setup, potentially, depending on the mech that you're using. Our last mech is our support mech, the Trebuchet. This is going to be armed with 2 LRM-15s, which are going to allow us to not only attack from range, but it's also going to give us indirect fire capability, and we have a backup of 3 medium lasers. This mech will have a little bit harder time contending with heat when compared to a similarly armed mech, the Catapult, which also has 2 LRM-15s, but has more heat sinks to contend with that heat buildup. Our pilot is Apex, which is one of the pilots that has great gunnery skill, but also has an ability that I find very important. The only pilot right now that has that ability, which is Breaching Shot, which is going to allow you, if you only fire one weapon, to remove cover or guarded status from an opponent, which I think is very important for a support mech. All right, now that we've gone over all of that, let's go ahead and jump into our match.
Mech warriors, prepare for combat.
So the strategy we're going to be using is going to be very similar to the one that we used in the previous video. It's going to be the job of our Hunchback and our Kintaro to get up there and tank damage. It's going to be the job of our Commando to scout for us, and it's going to be the job of our Trebuchet to support with indirect fire. The difference there is indirect fire, though. Before, with our Yager mech, we had to have a direct line of sight on our opponents to attack them. Now with the Trebuchet, we don't need that. So I can come in with Apex in behind this hill, get a little bit closer, but be covered from any potential attack from our opponent because this hill is in the way. So we'll go ahead and set ourselves up right about there.
On the move.
Let's grab our scout and have our scout go over this way for a potential of establishing sensor contact in that first turn. We're going to go ahead and take Buckshot here. And Buckshot, we're going to want to put into a position and then more or less stay there. So we're going to put you right in the middle, and we're going to face in this direction. So anyone that comes into this river, we're going to have view of. Now the downside, or the rough spot about this positioning, is this rock here and this rock here can block line of sight. So it'd be a little tricky possibly to stay still, but we'll try. The Kintaro, I'm going to go ahead and move over here. We may end up trying to, of course, we're going to want to build up as many evasion charges as we can. It looks like we're better off if we move here. We may end up trying to get into the water to try and help cool off the Kintaro. We'll have to see. But we can also move into this wood here or this wood here if we want to keep our mech moving. Or we can just stay still and use our bulwark ability. We have either option open to us. This is a fairly small map, so it is possible we'll encounter the enemy in this first turn. But we didn't. All right, well, that's a little bit of a surprise, but it gives us the opportunity to position our mechs a little bit better. Granted, honestly, we're probably just fine where we are. And all right, let's go ahead and just move our light mech here a little bit. I honestly don't want to move too far away from where I am, though, because I wanted the ability to come over this way if I can. So I'm going to move just a little tiny bit. Okay. Now, for my other mechs, ideally, I think we want to move them around a little bit here. So Apex, I don't want to move at all, I don't think. I think we're going to just keep her where she is. So we're just going to brace up. Get guard status if it ever comes to that. And I think we're going to do a similar thing with our other mechs. So we're going to move them around so they get evasion charges, perhaps. So the only problem is I might not be able to move them enough to keep them in cover. So I'm going to do a normal move here and see what we can pull off. Now, the one thing about the Hunchback is we really don't need cover if we're not going to be moving. So you know what? Let's go ahead, put our back to the wall as much as we can. I would have preferred to get a little bit more motion here. Okay, so I'm going to move here instead. Well, I'm not going to get any evasion charges if I do that. So this is kind of the downside with evasion. You have to build up enough momentum to actually get those evasion charges. And I would have been okay with moving here if I would have been able to get my back to the wall a little bit better, but unfortunately I can't pull that off. Not there anyway. We might be able to pull it off here, though. So you know what? We'll do that here. It's only one evasion charge, but it will work. Let's face like that. I think that's the best chance we have of not needing to turn in a future turn, and it will put our back to the wall, so we're less likely to get flanked. A real weakness that the Hunchback has is rear armor. And did it just end my turn? I probably sprinted on accident. when I canceled my move. So that's actually really bad what just happened there. All right, we're going to try and make sure that doesn't happen again. So we're going to move here. And the idea is that we're going to, again, guard.
Affirmative, Commander.
So that was my bad. I meant to guard there, and I think I accidentally... No, it did it again. So it doesn't let you move and guard, because I'm fairly certain I clicked normal move there. So we're actually going to get quite screwed here in this first turn. All right, well, that's good that I learned that lesson, but that's not the way that a normal turn works. So, all right, we're going to reserve here. I'm going to try and move my mechs in a way that mitigates damage if I can. Here comes their commando, though. Fortunately for me, missed. All right, what we can do here is we can try and counter the move of my opponent. So I'm going to move very slightly so that we may be in a good position to get a hit and run attack. We're going to use our sensor lock ability to lock up the commando. Unfortunately, this means that my opponent will go first, so they will be able to attack one of my mechs here without really much in the way of defense here. Looks like they are going to go after my hunchback. So we took way more damage this turn than I should have, which kind of pisses me off a little bit. Otherwise, I would have stayed back. All right, well, again, you live and you learn.
What now?
So we're just going to stay where we are, and we're going to attack. This is going to make our hunchback more defendable so that it doesn't take that kind of damage again. I might turn off some of these... You know, we'll go full-on medium lasers here. What the hell? See if we can take this guy out. If we can take the commando out, then other mechs won't get line of sight on me, and we'll be a little bit better off. We really didn't want that to hit. That's going to be a lot of damage. Did I just take full?
Real good here.
I think that was a bug. I should have taken 75 damage there. AC-20 should only do 100 maximum, and he did full 100 damage to me. Okay, so we're having a little bit of problems here, but we'll be able to deal with it. I can, again, just stay put and attack, or I can move into the water and attack. Either way is viable, but I think we're just going to stay put, and we're going to try and take this commando out. I'm going to fire everything I've got here to try and seal the deal. You know what? We're going to turn off the medium lasers.
Copy that.
Okay, we got the kill. That's what's important. I just took a lot more damage in that first turn than I would have liked. Okay. So we're going to reserve one more time. Alright, well, unfortunately, I can't really do a whole lot with my support mech because we've broken our line of sight already. So I'm just going to go ahead and brace up here again. Because even moving up on top of the hill, I'm not going to get line of sight. And that would honestly not be an intelligent move. So we're just going to brace and wait for next turn. Okay.
Yep.
I'm going to go ahead and reserve here. Or reserve twice. Alright, I don't see a problem with reserving again. They have to come to me and establish a line of sight. Okay, now we've gotten that established line of sight. Let's attack with our trebuchet here. And we're only going to use one LRM-15. We're going to turn off the one that's not in the arm because we get an attack bonus with the one that is in the arm. And we're going to remove that guard. It is possible if all he fired was the AC-20 that it would go through the armor, now that I think about it. if he had a pilot with the breaching ability. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So we now can open up on the Hunchback. So I'll go ahead with Buckshot first. We'll attack. And I guess I'll fire all the medium lasers. This is going to heat me up quite a bit, but hoping to do good damage here. I don't feel like I need to establish a line of sight anywhere unless we want to go after their heavy mech here. So I might even do a hit and run attack here as well. So I'm just going to put myself in the woods here. This is going to be a very good attack because it's fairly long range, but we'll be able to disengage next turn without any problems.
Eat this.
Okay, good head hit. And I think Ozone we're going to bring into the water so that I can do good damage here. So I think this is water here. I do risk myself a little bit with counterattacks, but we'll build up 3 charges.
I got you.
And next turn we might be able to get in behind the Hunchback. Let's go ahead and turn on the medium lasers, but turn off the LRM-5. We'll open up here.
I'm on him.
Okay, knocked him unsteady. Okay, now Arclight
Yep.
is going to sprint. I don't think we have to worry about line of sight anymore. Actually, a normal move might do what I'm looking for. What I'm looking for is to be in a possible position, though, to come around behind, and a sprint might be the only way we get that kind of distance. But I don't also want to establish line of sight accidentally, so we'll move like that with a hope of establishing a rear attack in the next turn. Okay. I expect them to hit my Kintara quite a bit here. Hopefully he'll be able to hold out.
Reporting. Serious armor loss.
Okay. Now we're going to move and get that rear attack I'm looking for. Unfortunately, the only way I can get it is by getting out of the water. So this is going to be very heat-inducing. We don't want to shut down. But this is the way we're going to do the most damage we possibly can. And we don't want this Hunchback to hit us.
10-4.
I just don't want to shut down here. So I don't know how much I'm going to be able to sling in the rear here. So medium lasers are going to have to go off. We'll fire the SRM-6s. This should still be really good firepower.
I'm on him.
Okay, we did get an AC-20 crit. That's going to help. And we knocked down our opponent, which means that they're going to be pushed back in the initiative. So our other mechs are going to be able to counterattack here. Or continue to attack.
Keep an eye on my heat, Commander.
Okay. Let's go with Apex first. Actually, no, let's not go with Apex first.
No.
Let's attack with our other mech. And if I remember correctly, AC-20 is here, so let's focus our fire on the right torso. We only have a 24% chance to hit there, but we're going to fire everything we've got.
Engage.
And hopefully we can focus that fire in there and get that AC-20 gone. Yeah, alright, we got it. So there goes a lot of the firepower that
The heat
that
is
mech.
affecting my performance.
Now, how are we doing there? Okay, I'm not going to try and finish him off just yet. I think we go
Yes, Commander.
with Apex, and we attack other mechs. Now, which mechs would we like to attack? I honestly think we should go after the Centurion here, as we have a higher chance to hit here, and this mech has no cover. So we're going to go ahead and fire away,
Confirmed.
hopefully doing good damage to the Centurion. Yeah, there we go. Hunchback's gonna hit up. Possible punch attack coming. Yeah, no surprise. And I actually thought that was actually a good, there was a good chance of that because of the fact that I was up on a higher platform and that I already had taken an AC-20 shot to my leg earlier. Okay, here comes the Orion, who will be able to do a called shot against my Kintaro. Looks like they're trying to take out my right torso, which they managed to do. So, unfortunately, my Kintaro is in really bad shape because of that leg takeout. Alright, well, unfortunately, I'm not really able to get in the rear because the Hunchback turned around. So, we're going to end up reserving here a couple times.
Holding for the right opportunity.
Which means the Hunchback's going to get another opportunity to hit me. Alright.
Is that all you got?
Well, at this point, Ozone has been dropped in initiative, so it's possible they'll take him out. Let's go with
I'm here.
Buckshot here and try and finish off their Hunchback. Maybe. Yeah, we're gonna have to turn off a couple medium lasers, but that's a lot of misses.
Watch the heat.
Okay, well, we only have one target here, so we're gonna go for that target. And I'm going to reserve. And unfortunately, they're going to get another shot at me while I'm on the ground. So, a lot of damage coming in here. Yeah, our Kintaro is barely alive. Okay, well, Arclight might be able to get a rear shot in here. No, not quite. We're going to go into the woods, though. Or should we? You know what? I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to attack this turn, and the next turn I'll also attack, and hope to get a rear kill with the Commando. Okay, well, we managed to get a kill anyway.
That one's gone.
Alright, now it's time to get our Kintaro to survive. So we're going to stand up. We do have a rear shot on the Centurion here.
Regained footing.
Unfortunately, I can barely move, so it looks like we're going to just stay put, and I don't know if I'm going to survive this. Okay, we're going to turn off these. Wow, my chances to hit are like non-existent. Alright, never mind. We're going to try and flee. Oh, because I have no weapons selected. I was going to say, where's my arc? There we go. We're going to move into the water here. And I guess we're just going to brace and try and survive here. I don't think the Kintaro is going to make it out of here. Okay, Arclight
Yep.
is going to go back into cover, I think. We are going to face in case our opponent can see me, which is possible.
On it.
We're going to use Sensor Lock, though, to lock up the Centurion to make it a little bit less of a threat. Alright, we managed to survive that. I just don't think we'll survive the Orion attack. Very unlikely.
Hey.
Okay. If we can get into water, we pretty much have to make this move. And it's possible we'll actually make the Hunchback the more viable target for our opponents. Okay, so we're going to fire everything we've got here on the Centurion.
Okay.
And because we're in water, we can deal with that heat.
I'm melting in here.
Okay. So we're going to continue to try and retreat here. If I just reverse, it's not going to be enough. Be able to turn around so that we're not going to get a flank shot here. And I'll just brace up again so that maybe our opponent won't attack us. Oh, we actually have a much better chance to hit now. You know what? Let's fire it off while we've got it. That Orion's for sure going to take me out, though. All right, well, we're just going to go all or nothing here.
Here we go.
Take him with us. Okay.
Commander,
And Apex is going to try and finish the deal here.
target locked.
A lot of damage there.
Reporting critical hit.
So the critical moment is going to be what happens with this Orion.
BattleTech power-up detected.
Oh, he shut down. All right, we got out of it. We got out of it okay.
Yeah?
I still think we have to go kind of aggressive here. Oh, we'll be okay. We'll be okay. I'll be fine. So let's just go ahead and reserve. Reserve again. If we can take this guy out, then we won't have to worry about ozone. So we'll get out of this. So let's go ahead. We'll go for the kill on the center torso, because there's a lot of firepower coming
I
in.
hope this hurts.
Okay, we got the kill. That's what we're looking for.
Mech destroyed. Watch the heat.
Okay. Next thing we're going to do
What do you need?
is going to move over this way. Okay, maybe not. I have to get close enough. There we go. This will work. So we'll move like that. And we'll put this guy
Good.
within sensor range. Sensor lock him up so that our support mechs can fire. Okay. Now, ozone is going to continue to back up so that it's much harder for this mech to establish line of sight, because it's going to have to get close to me to get that. So the further we get away, the better off we'll be. And we'll fire off our LRM-5 just to do it, because we can. And Apex
Standing by.
is going to fire a single LRM-15 so that we eat through that. That's the wrong one, though. We want the one that has the higher chance to hit.
Copy that.
Do full damage. So really with ozone, we just got unlucky and had our leg taken out there. And also that early turn placement kind of screwed me a little bit. But that's something I didn't know because I'd never tried to do it before, is trying to brace in that turn. Okay, fortunately the hunchback is the target here, and we're braced up, so we're going to be able to reduce that damage down. Oh, hello. I'm really surprised that the Orion was able to establish line of sight, but I guess that's what happened. Alright, it's been a long time since I've lost a mech, but that's what happened. Okay, we're going to go ahead and reserve. We don't really need to sensor lock up here, except for the fact that this guy has this the evasion. So,
I'm here.
you know what? We will sensor lock this turn. Just to make it an easier target for our other mechs. Because at this juncture,
Commander.
we want to do as much damage as we possibly can. So, fire away.
Locking in target.
Okay.
Awaiting orders.
And fire both of our LRM-15s because there is no defensive bonus right now. So now it's down to, can my hunchback tank the damage of the Orion?
My head.
Okay, we're going to reserve here.
Reserving action.
Reserve again. We're going to use buckshot here, and we're going to focus so that we get all of our firepower on our target.
Engaging.
Okay, we have eaten through the armor in a few different locations. See if we can
Commander.
continue to pour in here. We're going to turn off one of our LRM-15s so that we can get through the guard. Okay,
Reporting
good. We managed to take out a good portion of the firepower of the Orion. We're going to now reserve so that we can do a hit and run attack.
For the right opportunity.
All right, so we're going to win the trade war here.
Getting pummeled. Standing by.
So my positioning here really doesn't matter. We're just going to attack. Fire away. Okay, I'm going to reserve.
Waiting for the right.
The reason I'm reserving is because I want to see the positioning or the status of this Orion before I move my light mech.
Standing by.
Because it's possible we'll be able to come in and do damage as needed. Okay, got a crit there.
Critical hit, Commander.
Follow that up
Standing by.
with another LRM-15 shot.
Copy that.
Okay,
I'm here.
so it doesn't look like Arc Light is going to be able to finish the Orion. So I'm going to go ahead and sprint, and we're going to sprint over this way so maybe we can get a rear shot, if possible.
All right. Full speed.
Okay, so our Hunchback only has to take one more turn here. Granted, we have gotten through our armor now.
Doomed.
Okay. Again, we're going to reserve. We're going to see if there's an opportunity for our commando after our other mechs go. So Apex is going to go ahead and start this off.
We'll go.
And I think the likelihood that this Orion is going to survive this turn is pretty low.
Right here.
Buckshot's going to fire again.
Affirmative.
Okay, SRM-4 destroyed.
That looked like a critical hit.
Alright, so we're going to wait until after the Orion goes. And then we'll get our hit and run attack. Okay, use the focus.
Ah, I'm hit.
Okay,
Aye, aye.
here comes Arc Light. Get what shot she can. Attacking the rear is actually maybe not in our best interest.
Aye, aye. Engaging front.
Alright, we're getting there. Again, we're going to reserve with our light
Holding
mech.
for the right opportunity. Yes, Commander.
Alright, let's see if the Hunchback can finish the deal.
Copy.
Objective complete.
Alright, there we go.
Target top right.
Mission successful.
Alright, so it's been quite a while since I've lost a mech to the AI, and some of that was just bad luck. A lot of it, I think, was caused by bad positioning in the early stages of the game, or that's kind of what got that rolling, because I took damage in the first turn that I shouldn't have taken, and that's unfortunate. But I was just, you know, it's a live and learn situation. I wasn't aware that a move in that first turn was the same as sprinting. It consumes your entire turn. I was expecting to be able to move and then brace, but it didn't allow me to do that. So that's unfortunate, but we did learn from the experience in any case. But really what sealed the deal of the Kintara was getting punched in the leg that it took an AC-20 shot to, which took that leg out, knocked the mech down, allowing several mechs to get called shots on it, and that was pretty much all she wrote. I couldn't really disengage, although I was trying. I was really surprised that the Orion was able to get close enough to even be able to see my Kintaro. I was trying to get as much distance as I could with a blown out leg, but all right, well, in any case, I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Melsgunner, signing out.